What's absolutely crack-a-lackin' premium boys? Let's do a little conversation. Let's do a little conversation for you guys. You guys are always going to be my first priority with my group. You guys pay. I let you guys watch me trade live. I try to give you guys some good personal videos. You guys get first priority when messaging me, everything like that. So I wanted to start dropping in a couple more videos for you guys. This one's going to be a psychology talk. I'm dead ass chopped. I gotta do something about my fucking hair. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why it's spiked up like that, but at least I'm fucking rich. Now let's talk about Fomo. So that bat guy, shout out bro, asked me to make this because if we look at today's session, there was an example of this. I'm not even gonna pull up the trade. But there was basically an example where there was a trade right off open that ended up working if you took a lower second inversion, like a 15 second, but ended up either break-evening or even losing for you on the 1 minute. And then, obviously I preach once you take a loss, you get off the charts. That's what I usually tell you, and that's what I usually follow, unless, I take a half-size loss or something like that, or if I'm break-even, etc. So I always say take one loss and get off, and, there will always be the problem of FOMO, fear of missing out, where, you lose on a trade or you don't take a trade and then you see it go without you, or you go on social media and everybody's winning, stuff like that. And here's what I'll say about FOMO, because it's a very real thing. And I always say that there's two main factors that people talk about with psychology and trading. It's fear and it's greed. So these are just two obvious human emotions. And you kind of have fear and greed implemented in every psychological mistake you make in trading. Like if you oversize, you over leverage, maybe you're either fearful you're not going to make money soon enough, or you're impatient, you're greedy, you want to make money right now, stuff like that. So FOMO typically comes, as it says, fear. You're fearful that you're not going to get another setup, or you're not going to make money today. And to that, I want to ask the question of who the fuck cares, right? Because I've used this example before in videos where I've talked about this, but let's say, I've been on a win streak, but my last loss was probably 12 trades ago, right? I think. I don't know what it is right now. Do you want me to tell you how I lost, what the setup was? I wouldn't be able to. I have no idea. That shit was literally in the same month. It's January 27th. My last loss was January 8th or January 9th. And I couldn't tell you what loss it was. I couldn't tell you what I took it off of. I couldn't tell you what time it was. I couldn't tell you why it failed, or why it, why I thought it was going to work. I couldn't tell you anything about that trade without looking at my journaling. And you look at that trade, from that point forward, I've been on a 11 trade win streak, and I've been absolutely balling. But imagine if we canceled all that out and I took that loss and then I said, fuck, I got some FOMO, a lot of people are green today, I want to be green. And then I start tilting, I start over leveraging, over trading, and I blow my account. So then, if that happened, then the next 11 trades that I've been on this win streak for would have never ever happened to those accounts. So I took that loss. Are my accounts in jeopardy? No. Since taking that loss, I've taken 2 payouts, and I'm already ready for a third, basically. And since that payout, since that loss, I paid out 5 figures in this month, and I'm gearing up to pay out 20K to 30K in February with those accounts and with others. So, and that's not the flex. That's just to say that that loss didn't mean shit to me. And your loss or your break even or whatever shouldn't mean shit to you, because there's always going to be another day to trade as long as you let yourself trade. I saw a quote that said, it literally said, be where your feet are. Think about that. Be where your feet are. I think we spend too much time worrying about the past and worrying about the future. A lot of your trading mistakes that you will make psychologically will be because you're too caught up in the past, or you're too anxious for the future, right? So what do I mean by that? Let's say you have FOMO. Let's say you take a trade, after missing out, something like that. There's 2 reasons for it. Either one, you are thinking about that dream life, that future life that you're trying to achieve, or 2, you're still hung up on the past and how you didn't catch the move that you wanted to, you feel like the market owes you, etc. Instead of thinking about the past and feeling robbed, instead of thinking about the future and what your life could hold, think about where your feet are, where you are right now. Okay, I'm break even on the day, or I'm red on the day. All right? I can't control the trade I took. I can't control it because it's already hit my account. The balance has already been adjusted. The trade has already happened. What do I know now? I know now, with my current position, that I can set myself up to be okay in the long run if I just get off, if I don't think about that trade, and if I just do the same shit tomorrow. I execute and I wait for an A-plus setup and I take it. All right, so that will, in turn, affect your future positively if you stop thinking, I need to get this money now, or I got robbed back then, and you instead focus on the present and the now, because that will allow you to feel like, okay, what's the best thing I can do for myself in this current moment is to let go of that shit, because that shit doesn't matter. Those trades from a week ago or yesterday or today do not matter. The trade that I took today that won was an amazing trade, and I remember it right now. I probably won't remember it by the weekend. And if you ask me about it this weekend, like, yo, your trade on Tuesday was fire, I'll be like, was it? I don't remember. I could have lost, and I wouldn't even know. And even if you show me the trade and I was like, yeah, that trade is pretty fire, who fucking cares? I could lose these next 3 days of the week, and that trade won't even matter. I could win these next 3 trades of the week, and that trade still won't matter. At the end of the day, you kill yourself by thinking about each trade individually, and that's why you get FOMO. You get FOMO because you think of each trade as such an important individual event, when in reality, that's not the case. People get too hung up about red days, green days, red weeks, when in reality you should be worried more about red or green months, red or green years, all right? Everybody likes to think that trading is a sprint, but in reality it's a marathon. Nobody cares if you could get one payout, all right? A payout is low-key just not that hard. Like, if you gamble and you do dumb shit enough, there's going to be a chance you get lucky, you pass an eval off some bullshit, maybe you pass an eval off my gambling news strat, and then you over-leverage and you, happen to go on, a 3 or 4 trade win streak, you get eligible for a payout and you take the payout. Congrats, bro. A payout is not fucking hard. Sorry, I hate to break it to you. It's just not. Everybody romanticizes the idea of getting your first payout because it is pretty monumental when you get to say, okay, it's real. I can make money from this trading shit. But in the long run, that shouldn't be what your goal is. Your goal should not be, I want to get one payout. Your goal should be, I want to build and execute a system with longevity to it. And that's why FOMO comes into play, because you're too worried about that one payout. You're too worried about that one trade. You're too worried about getting that one amount of money. If you made $2,000 off one payout, and you got it to your bank account tomorrow, would you rather have that, or would you rather get no money for the next 10 months, but then get $100K in your bank account at the end of those 10 months? Due to longevity, due to patience, due to caring about the long run rather than day by day. Obviously, you're going to pick that second option, but it's way easier to say that than to do that. So what do I do personally to make myself not have FOMO? Well, one, I need to remember that I'm human. All right, there's going to be days where I do miss a trade, or I take a loss, or I get a break even, and I am annoyed, I am upset, and I feel like fuck, the market owes me, and I'm going to go and try to get that money back, shit like that. I don't. Typically, I haven't FOMO'd in a very long time. My psychology's been pretty locked, to be honest. But the way that I do that is I always remember, okay, I do not care. I literally have a sign somewhere around my room that says, I do not care, I do not care, I do not care, because your brain works in a very weird way. Your brain and your thoughts are always going to try to control you, and I saw a video the other day actually that touched on this, where it said you need to ignore those initial thoughts, because those initial thoughts are what damage you and they're dangerous for you. And what that means basically is you could get a thought that says, fuck, I gotta make this money back, or fuck, why did that trade not hit? I'm so pissed. But if you can ignore those and say, I do not care to those thoughts, over time, your brain is going to adapt and truly not care, because you are a human, you have human emotions at the end of the day. But if you keep saying, I do not care, you're basically faking it until you make it. At a certain point, you're going to be like, yeah, you're right, I do not care. Like, I actually don't care. And that's how you get rid of FOMO. You have to tell yourself, each day does not fucking matter. You're pushing for longevity. You're pushing for consistency. You're building a system and you're executing it day by day. There are losses in a strategy, all right? My strategy has been fucking banking lately, and it's a great strategy. And you're going to ask me, hey, yo, like, do you ever take losses? Yeah, obviously I take fucking losses. Everybody takes losses. I'm in a group chat on Snapchat with 60 plus traders, all of them around my age, all of them very successful traders. Dudes who are making anywhere from 5K a month to 150K a month. Shit like that. Like, very, very successful dudes. A lot of them you guys probably know in the space. And there are dudes in there who just fuck around all day, and they're all maybe like, fuck around, everything like that, but they're all extremely disciplined with trading because they tell themselves that they do not care. Or they say, oh, yeah, this happened in my trade today, whatever. Like, they don't let it define them, all right? If I ask you, how was your day, and the first thing you tell me is that you won or lost your trade, that means that you're letting trading define your life, all right? It should not be that big of an aspect of your life. I trade for an hour and a half a day maximum. There are 24 hours in a day. If that is all I can think about for my entire day, then that means I'm letting it control my life. That's when you need to start saying to yourself, I do not care. Graduate from that mindset in that space of trading is taking over my life and I need to get this money now, I need to live in the future, I need to worry about the past. Be where your feet are, be blessed of where you are, because it is a blessing to be in your position. If you're able to try and learn this skill of trading, just be more grateful for where you are and stop trying to think about where you could be, because the moment that you stop caring about your future and stop caring about how much money you could stack up with trading, and you just focus on the process and where you are right now, that is the moment that you will truly find success. All right, see ya.